After some technical difficulties, we are now officially live in the flesh, baby, with Mr. Kirby G. How are you, sir?
Doing great, doing great. How are you doing today, Anthony?
Doing good, doing good. I mean, I have a new camera set up. We're live. We're in 1080p, but I couldn't figure out the microphone situation, so I'm using just these at the moment. Hopefully, it's not a terrible audio, but you know, we'll be fine. And initially,
it's just like tradition that everyone just need a little, like, hold the little microphone up to your mouth, like that. It's like that TikTok microphone, all the Gen Z love it. It's much better than those professional studio microphones everyone uses.
I'm gonna break the fourth wall a little bit, but unfortunately, we have the microphone, and it's. I think some people think it's a connected piece, but actually, it's like nothing, and then a microphone slides onto here. It's like a $10 thing. But you're right. I know I'm so upset I don't have my Fisher Price microphone today. I want to say what's up to everybody before we get into. We have some interesting things we have to catch up with Kirby on. Me and him, we've talked offline for a good amount of time now. We did a video together. I forget how long, maybe 6 to 9 months ago, something like that. He has very interesting things that he's doing in the space that I don't see that many people doing, hinting towards something like using all of the, what I would consider maybe the smaller money in the credit card points and miles game, like the credits that you get with certain cards or things like that, and actually creating an entire vacation out of it. I think it's pretty amazing and remarkable, and he has a more recent experience where he's going to be doing something at Cancun, so we'll talk about it. Just want to say what's up to Kirby, just saying both of us are hot, very nice. Alec, what's going on, Alec? That's right, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, baby. Jordan, I'm early. It's popping, Jordan. And Xavier out of the gate with a 20 spot. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I really, thanks for being here. I know we had a few lives today, so who knows if Xavier's been dropping all around the galaxy today, but
we got a few sugar daddies in the community, so
yeah, 100%. He's definitely one of them. I can't wait to see him in Puerto Rico, because then I will call him daddy as well when he's there in the flesh, so that'll be cool. So thank you, Xavier, man. Juan, it's popping Juan with the fires. Philip Stuckey, points of Philip, here he is, and actually in the points of Philip as well. Very cool. T Seth, what's going on, Seth? We got Big Michael Wong as well, the man who knows everything. Philmo, hey, it's the world famous Kirby G in that venture kit. Thank you, Philmo. Look at that. We got a Kirby fan in the house. Sleepy Rod, all the homies stoked on Rakuten and Built. Absolutely. Juan said, I think I've seen Kirby in Joe's live chats. Yes, definitely. Kirby's been around.
In all of the live chats. Everyone starts at 4 p.m. Pacific, it feels like. So I don't really work around 4:30, 4:45. So the last 30, 45 minutes is just me listening to whoever is live at the time. So literally everyone's lives. I'm probably in for at least 5 to 10 minutes, hopefully get my words in.
Definitely.
And I do look, when I meet Philmo in real life, he does look like Grand Moff Tarkin, because if he doesn't, I'm gonna be like, that's just what I've envisioned him as, so that is what he always will be to me.
Right. So yeah, Kirby's been in a lot of live chats. He's in the Discord. He has his own channel, which I'll share right here. If you guys want to subscribe, just type in Kirby G Credit Card. It'll pop up, and you'll get to learn more in depth about everything that we are going to be talking about today. So before I get started, Miles of Smiles, thank you for that, sir. Gifted Anthony membership, where you get pretty much nothing but a hearty handshake. If you come to Puerto Rico, let me know you remember. I'll give you a hearty handshake. That's about it. But much appreciated, Miles of Smiles. It's very cool of you to do that. Thank you, sir. And Points Blank Travel. What's up, fellas? What's going on? What's going on, Rod? How's everything? And Sleepy Rod, I'm always in all the lives throwing spicy comments here and there. Creator's probably sick of me. Sleepy Rod's always, he's always killing it. But hey, listen, maybe Kirby wants to get spicy today too. You never know. Philmo, whoa, and now I get a firm handshake at the meetup. Yeah, not a limp wrist like I did last year. We'll do a firm one. Okay.
Always firm handshakes here.
Yes, absolutely. Detour Travels present. It's popping. And we got another membership from Miles of Smiles. Oh my God. We have to get into Kirby's exciting life and adventures, but Miles, I really like the picture too of Miles of Smiles. That's it almost looks like you have a claptrap or something next to you. I'm not sure if that looks like claptrap, but thank you for 2 memberships, man. I don't know how people benefit, but no, at least I benefit, and that's the most important thing. So thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Oh, sleeper runs are very, very cool. Very cool. Okay, very nice. Thank you all, Xavier, Milo Smiles, everybody's being here. So, Kirby, I have to ask you, sir. It's been a while. I wanted to get some updates from you, and I wanted to hear some of your wisdom because, like I said in the intro, there's a lot of things that you're doing that I think. I think you're like the perfect example of somebody who is getting fairly like decent, like really well experienced in the game, but kind of sticking to almost like the frugality mindset that I think most of us have when we get started. I like to think that most credit card points and miles people are pretty frugal by nature. I think we try not to spend that much money, and that's why we get these points so we can supplement all of our crazy travels. But you do that to a degree that also includes the credit cards. Usually when people get millions of points and miles, they'll just spend it frivolously, but you seem to really maximize every inch of it. And that was one thing that I really appreciated about you. And it seems like you're continuing that streak. So there was one thing that we teased on our first video together that I wanted to hear what actually ended up happening. I talked to you offline, but I didn't get to get the full story. You said that you were able to use your Delta Reserve card and I think a few other cards to be able to do an entire trip for you and your friend to the U.S. Virgin Islands, right? Like when did this occur? How did you make this happen? Like basically break down how you were able to take the small money, the credits, and like create a vacation out of this. I would love to hear.
Yeah, of course. So I started like I think it was the second credit card I ever got was the Delta Gold card. I was flying home, or I was flying to a new job. I was moving from Minneapolis to Irvine, California at the time. And guy was like, hey, you're spending $700 on luggage. If you get this credit card, I'll take your bags off. Like I only end up paying for one of them. And the funny thing is, my company already reimbursed me for that luggage, so that was extra $600 in my pocket. So again, I knew I was going to fly Delta for work because that's our preferred airline. So I said, why not? I literally put all of my spend on the Delta Gold card for probably a year of that and the Bill card. So I never really thought about credit cards too much. I think it was probably your channel. I think it was Spencer Johnson and I think it was Stan the Credit From. Those were the three like YouTube channels I originally found when it came to credit cards back in 2023, 2024. And I was like, hey, I like traveling, but I also don't like paying for things. So over the next 2 years, I upgraded to the Platinum card and then to the Reserve card from Delta, just because, again, I didn't want to open up too many cards, and they gave me some pretty nice welcome or upgrade bonuses. Basically, that includes statement credits that covered the difference in price. So when I upgraded from the Gold to the Platinum, they gave me a $200 statement credit plus a bunch of miles. And then when I upgraded to the Reserve, they gave me $300 statement credit and a bunch of miles. So I basically have the Reserve for the price of the Platinum, if you think about it that way. So I had a companion pass from my Platinum that was going to expire in a couple months. And the original friends that I thought were going to possibly go with me no longer lived in the same state. I moved every 6 months for 2 years for work. I didn't really account for that when thinking about my companion pass. So I was in Akron, Ohio, kind of stranded when it came to other young professionals in my area. They were all about a couple hours away. So I had one guy. I just said, hey, I don't know you very well, but do you want to go to the U.S. Virgin Islands? And he said yes. So we're just gonna pull. It's on one of my first videos. I talked about the exact breakdown. But so for one round trip flight was $474 from Cleveland to St. Thomas, laying over in Atlanta. So basically, we split the cost of that. So my round trip ticket was $237. So pretty cheap for a round trip ticket. It wasn't miles. The companion pass you have to pay cash, and then our hotel for the 4 nights was just under $600. So each of us paid $300. Well, I had the Delta Stays credit, so that saved me $200 right there. And then again, we had basically every single credit that the Delta Reserve has, I used on this trip. We had to Uber to the airport, so that's one more credit. We ate at a Resi restaurant in the Virgin Islands, which I don't think exists anymore. So you can't do that anymore. But again, I used that credit as well. So my out-of-pocket, actual travel costs were $336 to go round trip and the hotel for 4 nights. That was right next to the beach. Obviously, I spent way too much money while I was in the Virgin Islands, but it's a completely different conversation. I actually cashed out all of my. I used to have a U.S. Bank Cash Plus that I converted to a Smartly, and Smartly got nerfed. So I did that for absolutely nothing. So I cashed out all my cash back that I had was like maybe like $100 over the past like 7 years of me having the card. And I wiped out my credit card bill, at least partially. So I really, I don't know, for me, when it comes to this game, I need to squeeze every single reward and point that I can. I live in California now. I came all the way back, did a nice little tour of America, and now I'm back here for some godforsaken reason. So my rent's more expensive, everything's more expensive, so my spend has gone up, but I still don't accumulate points like some people in this community do, where they earn, I'm spending thousands of dollars on groceries every week. So I need to find all the benefits when I can. So right now that's applying for a lot of credit cards, but it's also, again, using every single credit, using every single possible trick I can find to just squeeze value out of this game. So with the Virgin Islands, I spent total like less than $600, I want to say, for 4 nights if I include my flight, my hotel, all the food and alcohol that was consumed on the beach. So, and they drive on the left side of the road, so we didn't want to rent a car, so you have to taxi everywhere. Mm-hmm. Luckily in St. Thomas, they do have fixed prices for where you're going, so that's kind of nice. We knew we weren't going to get scammed. But again, it was $20 one way, basically everywhere. So again, it's one of those things where if you're drinking on the beach and then you can just hop in one of those vans, get right back to the hotel, absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really high on the Caribbean right now. I'm going to Cancun in November. So I'm kind of enjoying lazy vacations versus the, hey, let's go see this, let's go see that, let's walk a marathon every single day. I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying the beachy booze vacations. That's kind of the era I'm in right now. So, again, much easier on the brain, that's for sure.
Definitely. And you made me think of like 3 separate follow-up questions. But one, I have to say, I just want to mention, like, that's amazing. You're able to be able to do 4 days, with your friends, $600 all in, food, hotel, flights. Like that's insane. And I think you really speak to, because I don't know, I think there's a lot of like creators and people in the Discords and stuff like that. I feel like we hear, oddly enough, more from the crowds who are married or have a player or two, whatever you call. And like it seems like there's more scenarios where it's like you traveling with a girlfriend or a wife or a fiance, what have you. But I feel like I hear less so often just people talking about traveling solo or just like with a friend who is just like, I barely know you, but let's go hang out in the Virgin Islands, something like that. And I think it speaks to, I would imagine there's a lot of people out there that are like that as well, who are just solo traveling. Obviously there's a lot of creators as well who are like that, but it just goes to show, like, if you don't care that much about where you're staying or necessarily how you're getting there, just listen, 3.5 hour flight, give me economy, give me like a okay place, on the beach. It doesn't have to be super expensive. And you can get that done. Like you can pay for one card and get all of that done, every single year from just this credit. So I think that's really cool. Something you said, because I was going to go into this later, but now you kind of brought it up, so I'm just kind of interested. So you mentioned So you mentioned just now that you were like, you're really enjoying the Caribbean right now. You're going to Cancun, you're doing these things. You like a lazy vacation. And something that my wife recently said to me when we got home from Italy, which was, in the points and miles game, we should start differentiating between a trip and a vacation. And a vacation is a place where you go to hang out, probably like these Caribbean places where you just relax, hang out on the beach, all those things. Very nice, great location, great service, something like that. A trip is like, going out and, like you said, doing a million different things in a given day, which you and I both have done now in Greece and all these places. And there's something that you said to me recently, which I've seen, and we've both kind of said this. Basically, you said every time you go out of the U.S., you appreciate the U.S. a lot more. You're like, let me just come back to the U.S. And I could feel myself in that way a little bit as well. Like I'm getting a pull from you and some other people to the Caribbean. So I don't know. It's open ended, but could you outline your thoughts on like exactly why you're liking Caribbean and U.S. versus like abroad?
Yeah, no, I think I was in a Uncle Luke live a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about Italy, and he said he's been there a bunch of times, but he recently took his family, and he said, people talk about how great food is in Italy or Spain or somewhere. They just take all that to America and they make it better. America exceptionalism and all, but when I was in Italy, I was like, you see all these really cool architectures, and I'm sure it's amazing to live there every single day. But I love history. I love map games. I'm like, give me my Hearts of Iron 4 and Europa Universalis and all those games. I love history, but once you see those things, like, give me my air conditioning, give me my ice, give me my, I still think of, you can see all these amazing things, or I can like go to Hawaii, or I can go in the beaches of California, or I can go to there's so many places domestically that I think people forget about here in America. There's some beautiful areas that I think in the middle of America people should probably go to if you're going to spend all this time and effort to go overseas. Hit up middle America. You'll have a lot more fun than you think you will. Also, it's just a lot. I'm still going to take trips. I'm going to Japan in July. I've had my flights booked. I'm flying business class. If I don't book something before then, it'll probably be the first time I actually fly true business class. I've flown domestic first class, but it really doesn't count. So again, I'm still going to be taking trips, but I think at least go to I don't know, Fort Lauderdale, or go to some coastal city and take an actual vacation, and maybe take a few more trips in the middle of America. There's some the middle of America can be very, very beautiful depending on where you go. Maybe you skip Nebraska. Sorry for all the Nebraskans out there. But there's some great sweet spots that I know I'll be spending more time focusing on. I currently live in California. I don't want to live. I'll probably live here like 2 years max. My company owns me for 2 years. So I signed a nice large relocation package, so they do own me. But once that happens, or if I don't accept another position within the company back to the Midwest, probably I'm going to take every opportunity I can to fly west. I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to Japan. But like once I kind of hit those places, I'm just like, man, like Europe is Europe. I mean, it's all kind of the same. It's maybe blasphemous to some people out there, but once you see the main spots, you'll be shocked how many spots in America you can go and get just as much culture, get just as much benefit and excitement.
Absolutely. And I know we're, compared to some of the other folks in this game, we're still novices, but I mean, I'm just starting to feel that. Like, I feel like that's what will happen. I really do believe it. I think once you hit those spots, I don't have to hit 100 countries. I just, give me Salem, Massachusetts in October. Give me Hilton Head Island in May. These are some of my, favorite trips, and they're like, regular places, Northeast, like we had some of our best vacations there, Tarrytown, New York, like little places I always mention, can really be absolutely amazing. So I thought that was funny that you said that. I think we're pretty aligned on that, I would say. I do want to acknowledge we had a Filmo's World 2 spot. Kirby, no worries. I just like Tarkin. What is that? Is that a game thing? What is that?
Grand Moff Tarkin from his profile picture.
Oh yeah, people always say that, and I always forget. But I guess I don't even know.
That's just what he looks like. You think it's his headshot for work?
I think we all thought that was him at some point. I should disrespect him and be like, well, the real life version is not that far off. I'm just kidding. Thank you, Phil. Man, John, who was just live. I just realized, like, as we were going live, I was like, oh, John and Spencer were just live. John, 2 spot. Let's go. Smash all the buttons. Thank you, John. Thank you, sir. Hope it was a good live.
You, John.
Mr. Tom G. What's popping, Tom G? 5 spot. Thank you, sir. No message. Just a stoic. He's the man of a lot of wisdom.
In and out.
Yep, love it. Kevin P. with the Lancer, very nice. I'm from St. Is it Croix? Is it like LaCroix? Next time you go back to U.S. Virgin Islands, take a trip to Buck Island. Yeah, have you heard of that? Never heard of that.
So when I was in the Virgin Islands, I want to say, so St. Thomas and St. John are very close to each other, and St. Croix is a little bit farther south. So I did not go to St. Croix. I was supposed to go to St. John and go hiking the last day, but I got sunburned so badly. I'm extremely white, like I'm like Mayo white, and I put on my sunscreen as I should, and then got pretty toasted on the beach and was there for like 12 hours and got absolutely annihilated. So I was oozing basically. I couldn't move. So the last day of the trip, I was in bed. So I did not go to St. John. We did take a snorkeling expedition that took us kind of on the St. John. It was either that expedition or an expedition that takes you to a certain island you can't say on YouTube, because it'll take you as far as you go until the U.S. government tells you can't go any farther. Someone that's involved with a certain list. So it was either that expedition or snorkeling to see turtles. So we went with turtles. I got outvoted, but it's one of those things that you got to cross off the bucket list. I want to hit all the Caribbean islands at some point. Because I originally wanted to visit 100 countries, and then the more countries I go to, I'm like, all right, let's hit all 50 states first, and then I'll worry about 100 countries. But there's a bunch in the Caribbean that you can kind of knock off back to back to back. So I'm really interested in doing cruises. I know cruises with points can be a little difficult, or they're extremely high point values. So we'll see. But I do want to highlight Miles' Smiles here. He's just dropping bans on us here.
Like, what the heck, man? 2 memberships and a 50 spot for the Wipa Wig. I've decided, I guess if you donate that amount, you get, probably 5+ minutes of wig time. So shout out to Miles and Smiles. 1 second. Let me get my wig. I had to rearrange the office, so I got to figure out where it actually is. I think it's here. All right. Got the cowboy hat for a moment. Let's put this on. Freaking Miles, man. Derailing the entire stream for this nonsense.
If you drop a 50 piece, you got it. At that point, it's dancing, singing, karaoke music, like whatever he says goes.
We got to go Wicked, at some point. We were talking about Wicked the other night. We got to do Wicked, Wicked soundtrack together. So, Miles of Smiles, thank you, sir. That's crazy. So, you have been awarded. You've been awarded nice Wipa wig for until I remember that. I remember that it's on me. So thank you, man. Much appreciated.
We'll turn it to an hour and a half real quick.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna forget, and I'll be like, So seriously, thank you for that. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. That's too much. 2 memberships and 50. Come on. Let us give you some value first. I know this is valuable. Let me give you some more value and Venture Wicked performance. So thank you guys. Thank you all for the super chats and stuff. So that's this is ridiculous. Okay, so that's ridiculous. But okay, so now you're trying to traverse. So what's the I don't feel as attracted to the idea of going to every single Caribbean islands. Is there a lot of special things about each island? Like, is there, I don't know.
I'm sure every island has its own special things about it. But I just like the idea of a cruise, like having, especially a Mediterranean cruise is something I would love to do. Maybe one that skips Rome though, because I don't need to go back. I did someplace once, I never need to go back. Rome was amazing. If one of my friends wants to go with me to Rome, I'll definitely go. But I don't need to see places twice. Yeah. That's just not you can only look at an old building so many times and feel something. So, I love it. Like a big history nerd, I love the Colosseum. If someone wants to go, I'll go. But at the end of the day, I just need to see new things. So again, some cruise that you can hit multiple countries at the same time, hit the most popular city, hit the most popular destinations, and go. That's my kind of vibe. And again, I just like the idea of saying I visited X amount of countries. Yeah. That is starting to wane as I go to more countries. But at the moment, if I can go on some type of nice little cruise, hit 5 different islands, that's perfect to me.
Yeah, that's that. I'm still trying to convince my wife. I think I will be able to do it one day. She's probably watching now, but one day I think I'll get you. But I really do think cruises is I think it's the way. After talking to Rich with points and whatnot, and watching some of these videos, it just seems so freeing. I get it. You're trapped on the cruise, and maybe the food's not amazing. But I've seen some ones like the Virgin cruises where you could pay $180,000 or $90,000 a person for a 7-day cruise on a high level place where it's all inclusive, all complimentary, 5-star restaurants and stuff like that. And they'll take you to a bunch of different countries where you don't have to worry about the hotel. You don't have to worry about the flight. It's just you're paying everything up front in the cruise price, but you and I think are similar in okay, I'll prepay for a lot of things up front. Obviously you're trying to get a return on your money as well. But the fact that you can get to a place and then things are completely covered is everything. I absolutely love that. And the idea of not having to worry about anything food prices and all that. It's it's all covered. Okay, cool. And you don't have to, you can, okay, we're in a new country now. When Rich with Points, we did a live together and he was talking about He's like, oh yeah, we went to these separate islands in Italy, and then we were like near Greece, and then some other places. And he was like, we hit up like 10 different places in this, 10-day cruise, whatever it ended up being. And you didn't have to think about anything. Just, okay, you wake up, you're in a new place. All right, go hang out and come back. Like, I would have loved to have had that when I was in Italy, traversing the entire country by train. Would have been nice.
In a country, having to move around is so inconvenient.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy when we were in Italy, we got some bad advice of how far in advance you should buy trains and buses. Like, everyone told us, or his brother who went to Italy 5 years before said, "Oh, just buy it the day before," which was the worst advice ever, because things would actually sell out, or they'd be super inflated, and bad. We had like take a bus instead of a train one time, like doubled our time.
Jeez.
But moving around is just very inconvenient. Unless you're in like Japan, where they just bullet train you everywhere, and it's like not a hassle at all. I don't know. I just hate the moving. Like, I want to hit as many places as possible, but I hate the process of actually moving from place to place. Again, that's where things in a trip can go wrong. And so before I really got into points and miles, there's a website called Kentucky, which basically is based around solo travelers 18 to 35, and basically they're group trips. So you pay a set price, and everything is normally there's a couple meals that you'll have to cover, and there's extra add-ons you can pay for, but they'll take you on, sometimes it's 5-day trips to 30-day trips, all like, you can do ones for Europe, you can do ones for Asia or specific countries. So there was one that would take you like Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia that I was going to book. It's like $2,000, but one night you are in an overnight train, one night you're in like one of those, it kind of looks like the Maldives. It's not, where they had like the little houses outstretched under the water and things like that. So you spend a night in one of those, and it just seemed like a lot of fun. And again, you're with other solo travelers or younger people, which is, I'm 26, so it's kind of a party vibe. And I don't party in real life, but I like to party on vacation. So that's kind of my mentality. So I almost did that, and then I realized I can do things for free. I decided to not do that. But again, still having that idea. That's why I like staying at hostels. I don't care about fancy hotels. Like, it seems like the fancier the hotel, the less breakfast you get, and I think that's dumb. So as long as the bed works and I have AC, like, I'll stay in a hostel, meet really cool people, and then have fun all night, and only spend like 3 hours in the hotel. Like, so that's my mentality. Maybe like once I actually stay at nice hotels, maybe that'll change my mind. But when I was in Greece, our hostel was like $12 a night for a private room. So like at a rooftop bar, at a DJ, you literally see it's the Parthenon or the Acropolis. One's in Rome, one's in Athens, I forget. But you literally just see it, and you're like, oh, like, that's insane. So I don't know, that's my mentality. I know some people, like, I don't really like flying economy anymore. I'm a Comfort Plus guy now. On Delta, I can book economy and get Comfort Plus, even a silver medallion, just flying out of John Wayne. But I don't have to fly first class. I don't need business class. I'm going to book the most basic room. If I got a queen size bed and air conditioning, like, that's all I need in life.
So speaking of economy and now moving up in the world, doing Comfort Plus, I have a follow-up, but I gotta say, a couple of people, LG saying loves cruising, going on a 7-day next year, very cool. Seth agrees, but just like flights, the brand and type of ship matter and make or break your experience. You really need to study the cruise lines and understand what fits your vibe, and then study the fleet. 100%. 100%. You ever watch those YouTube videos like, oh, I stayed on the best cruise, or I stayed on the worst cruise? And
I'm definitely a Virgin Voyages person, not a Carnival.
Well, we don't. That was the most highly anticipated Netflix documentary of all time. Came out. Poop Cruise. It was amazing. It was award-winning film. It was amazing. Dimitri, super sticker, 99 cents. Just like that Macklemore song. Very nice. It was 99 cents. Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you, sir, for doing that. And Phil says, never been on a cruise unless a harbor patrol isolation cell. What are you doing, Phil?
Speaking of getting detained overseas, so something that I learned when I was in Rome is, I was told beforehand, you always got to validate your bus tickets. We were so on top of everything. So we get our ticket. We buy our butt, get a little ticket, we put it in the machine, and punches it or like indents it or whatever. But we realized we were going the wrong way. Like we're going south instead of north. So we hopped off the bus, got on the same bus line, but going the opposite direction. And of course, the police come on, and me and my buddy were actually excited because we had our tickets in hand, and there were other people, like there's another person who like couldn't find their ticket. We're like, oh my God, what a bum. So we give it to them, and they say, this ticket's already been used. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I explained what we did, and they're like, oh, you needed a new ticket. And I was like, what are you talking about? And my buddy, I went with, he's a very nice guy, but he is so like anal about everything. Like his food is always messed up. He will always send it back to the server. So he's more cheap than I am. And so when they told us, I think the fine was like, I don't know, 60 euros or something like that. I think it was going to be like $82 American. And it was just like the worst feeling ever. Just because like they take your passport, they like pat you down, and like it's like you kind of get perp walked a little bit in Rome in front of all the locals who I think just immediately like, look at these stupid Americans.
Dang, I don't think I told this story yet on live. Did I? I don't know if I told it on live, but I had a very similar situation when I was in Italy. Much like you, with the idea of like when to buy the tickets. I don't know. I got away with it so buying the train tickets. I remember I bought them in advance, and I had one particular ticket when I was going to Lake Como, and this particular ticket happened to be like, I don't know. We got to the train station early, and it was maybe like 15 minutes later than the one that had just arrived. And I was like, well, I have the same ticket. Why can't I just get on the same train? And I was able to get on. And then when the lady came around, they don't always come around, but usually when the train ride's like an hour plus, it seems like, that's when they'll start checking. Or if it's like obviously a large train where they have dedicated seating, which is some foreshadowing. She came around, she checked our tickets, and even though it was for the ticket that was like the next train, it was fine. So I was like, okay, so that works. I was like, that's fine, and I can scan the next ticket. So I thought I could do the same thing because I had a ticket going from Florence to Rome, and this was, a bigger train, so you had the dedicated seating. And so I had paid for I had paid for some ticket that happened to be a train that was like, I don't know, like 5 hours later. Like it was much, much later than that one. But I said, well, it worked on that one. Why not this one? I didn't realize at the time that there was dedicated seating on those. I assumed they were all like the regional trains where you could stand up or just go find a seat, whatever. So I got on there and I just sat in a random seat, and nobody told us to get up. I was like, all right, let's just sit here and let's see if anybody comes over, because it's not my train, it's not my seat, not my ticket. Our train was supposed to come 5 hours from then, and I had dedicated seats for that. So nobody got on, and then once we got further, into the country. Actually, no, we were coming from Lake Garda down to Florence, I think, or something like that, somewhere in between. I forget. But as we got further, we picked up more and more people, and then eventually somebody came on, and they eventually was our seat. And then the ticket lady came over, and she was like, I was like, no, I played really dumb. I was like, this is the same. It's the same train, right? It's, Frecciarossa, it's the speed train. I was just like, this is the right ticket. She was like, no. She was like really adamant that this is not the correct one. She's like, you're going to have to buy a ticket for this train. And I was really still trying to play dumb. Like, oh, I didn't know. Sorry. I was off, I'm crazy. And then eventually she's like, no, you absolutely have to pay. So I ended up paying for a business class seat, because I guess that was all that was left on that. So it was like 120 euro plus the $60 fine, because I didn't actually have, I think it was like $180 for a train that I almost made it out with. It was like 45 minutes left of the train ride out of like the 2 hours or whatever it was. And I had to pay 180 euro for that. That was like the dumbest mistake I ever made. But I assumed it was going to be fine because the Lake Como one was fine. I was like, why? But I didn't realize this assigned seating is the biggest issue.
Oh, I know. There's so many different, like, trains will be on like the same line, but they'll be like different companies and different kinds of trains.
Yeah.
And like the worst part is we did so much research to not do that.
Same.
And then it was just like with the one, like when it came to the trains, we just listened to my buddy's brother who like went 5 years ago. That's like, it really taught me when it comes to traveling, like if we're going to Japan and someone went to Japan 4 years ago, all that information is probably useless. Like just things change so much, especially if you're going to a country that is experiencing a lot of increased tourism over the last couple of years, like Japan. It's like if someone went over like 2 years ago, like I don't really like want to even ask them questions about it. Because a lot of times they're like, oh, I went to Italy 30 years ago. It's like, okay, cool, but that has nothing to do with anything anymore. And but yeah, so just with a split section, thinking, oh wait, we're going the wrong way. Let's hop on let's go the right way. Nope.
Yeah.
Find passport. And they never stamped my passport in Rome. So when I was flying back from Athens, they're like, "How did you get into the country?" I was like, "From Italy." They're like, "How did you get into Italy? There's no record of you flying into Italy." I was like, "Are you sure?" They're like, "There's nothing on your passport." So like, I literally had to go to the police station in the Athens airport, and then I was trying to explain the situation, and the like chief of police or whatever, like the manager came by, looked at me. I was like, American? I said, yeah. And he's like, get out of here. Just, but when they finally gave me my boarding pass, I did see it had 4 S's on it. So I knew I was about to like get heavily inspected at every station, because at least at the Athens airport, there's like more security once you get closer to the gates. So like once you get past everything and then you go to where your gate is, there's like another security check. And they went through like my carry-on, my backpack, like fine tooth comb, and like patted me down multiple times. So I was like, all right, this is a bit excessive, but oh well. They let me through. I didn't miss my flight, but I was just like, Rome.
Yeah, and a lot of those things you would never even like. You get like all the research in the world. Like, I mean, I have access to people who've been to these places a million times, and I've talked to them, and we research. I go on ChatGPT too, and like I corroborate all the data. But like you don't know what questions to ask until you're actually there. Like, oh, I didn't realize that the number of my train actually exists on both sides of the train platform. It's just one is a different brand or whatever. One's a different company. And, you don't fully understand that when you're like in the heat of it. So 100%, I'm with you there. Chad's Money Minutes. Yo, what's poppin', Chad? And the new logo. Hell yeah. I mean, it's a couple of months old now, but it's new. But what's going on, man? Kevin Nayuan says most hotels in Asia are cheaper than some hotels in USA. For sure. Joe Mano says, oh, dearie, what's on Anthony's head? And as Kevin says, oh, snap, it's Joe Bretto and Kirby G. So Joe Mano, I guess 50 spot. I guess that's the price to put on a WAPO wig. I guess that's the idea. So Xavier just gets a hearty handshake, but Miles gets a nice old man wig. So, well, not the the WAPO wig, not an old man wig. Sorry, Joe. And Diamond says, I went to Italy last month for Formula One in Monza. I had 4 train ticket apps to juggle. It was a mess. Yeah. Jeez, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. The Trenitalia and me were, it's a great name, Trenitalia, the way I say it. But me and we became good friends during that trip. So, okay. So yes, I agree with all that. I want to shelf that for now because I wanted to talk about something you have recently done. You told me right before we went live. It's actually a crazy thing. It seems to be fairly contested. It seems like people are really upset with you on what you decided to do in the spirit of your frugality. And that is having to do with this trip that you have coming up to Cancun, right? So what's the story on this trip? Why is it so controversial? We want to know.
Yeah, so I really wanted to do like an all-inclusive. I've never done an all-inclusive before, and my buddy and I had a competition of who could pay off their student loans faster. I'm not like a Dave Ramsey guy because I'm in the credit card YouTube space, but I hate the idea of debt. Like I pay off my credit cards like every 4 days, which is a really bad thing I shouldn't do. But like I just hate seeing the balance. Like I should let like 1 to 2% credit utilization report, but I just can't do it because I just have to pay it. Like I don't know. That's just me. I don't have auto pay. Everything's manual pay. So me and my buddy tried to write down who could pay off their student loans first. I won. My buddy was like 6 months behind me because he bought a car for some reason. But
wow.
To celebrate, we wanted to hit up an all-inclusive. We couldn't really find. We wanted to do everything on points. So basically, other than taxes and fees, we wanted the trip to be as free as possible. And one of the ways that you can share points is through Hyatt. So I found an all-inclusive. It was 100,000 points for 4 nights. I think it was like a 1.33 cent per point. Not great, but if you think of that, I'm only spending 50,000. That's 2.66, so a little bit better. I'm sharing a room, but whatever. So, but he was able to send me 50,000 high points. So again, like we didn't put much thought into this because we didn't really care, but like that was the sole reason why we chose Cancun and that specific resort was just because he could send me the points. We don't really care where we were going. It seems like an awesome place, 24/7 room service, daily restocked mini fridge, unlimited drinks and food from like 4 different restaurants. Seems pretty legit to me. It's right. All of the rooms are ocean facing, so, or I guess the Gulf of America now facing,
Right.
and so it seems legit. But the only issue was that because I paid for it, the resort was kind of being weird about me having to check in. And so I added him to my ticket, and it seemed like it would be okay, but he didn't have my credit card because I paid with I didn't have any taxes and fees, but I put my Sapphire Preferred as the card. So I was thinking, like, man, I don't want to have to deal with this resort again, like trying to figure out putting his credit card on it, even though the booking is under my name. So I was going to get into Cancun at 9:20 p.m. and he was going to get in at 3:34 p.m. So he was driving down to Atlanta and flying out. And just because of me being all the way on the West Coast, I could not get to Atlanta in time for that same flight. It's just not possible. So I could fly from LAX directly to Cancun, which is what everyone is contesting that I should do. But I live in Orange County, California, which is south of LA. And I live in the southeastern part. So it is a hike to get there. Ubering is like $150 each way. And I could park for about $25 a night, but I have to drive there and I have to drive back. And I work the day after I get back. So I don't want to deal with that. And that defeats the purpose of me spending. I only want to spend Monopoly money on this trip. I don't want to spend real money. So my flight is from John Wayne to Atlanta, 4-hour layover to Cancun. But I wanted to get to Cancun earlier because if I'm spending 4 nights, I basically lose that first day. And that's, I didn't even get there, order my room service, and force myself to get some value out of it. But I was like, is there any way for me to get to Atlanta in time for that flight? Well, if I fly from John Wayne, no. Because there's like 3 flights to Atlanta a day, but they're all kind of early in the day. Because again, I'm flying west to east, and 3 hours is, I don't know, just throws everything off.
Yeah.
So I was like, what happened? Is there a way for me to fly from John Wayne to Atlanta the night before, and my buddy's staying at a hotel in Atlanta and have like a 15-hour layover and just leave the airport? That didn't really work. I could have done, I found like I could spend 15 hours in Seattle or like 12 hours in Minneapolis and then fly directly to Cancun and skip Atlanta, but that's flying backwards or like way north. So I didn't want to do that. And there was just like nothing that really worked out. So I'm adding an extra layover. I'm flying the night before. I fly out at 7 p.m. from John Wayne in Orange County to Salt Lake City. I have an hour and 40-minute layover, so it'll be like probably like 11 something, and then I fly to Atlanta and have a 7-hour 45-minute layover there. So I land in Atlanta at 5 in the morning, and then I'm going to take the airport shuttle to my buddy's hotel room, sleep for like 4 hours, and then come back with him. And we will be on the same flight from Atlanta to Cancun. And I also was able, I was only flying like half and half, main cabin and Comfort Plus. Now I'm flying Comfort Plus the whole way. So that is a plus. I'm also saving 6,800 miles. But I'm losing out on sleep. But in my mind, I'm not doing anything the night before the flight anyway. I may as well just fly to Salt Lake City. So now I have 2 layovers, but I get to Cancun 6.5 hours earlier. And so I get that full day at the resort, or at least half the day. And we can we'll save like $20 because we're taking the same private shuttle to the resort now too, because we had that book separate ones. So I understand why some people would not do that. It is 2 layovers and a red eye and a very long layover. But I have Sky Club access and unlimited mimosas in the Sky Club. So I don't sleep on flights. I also snore, so it might be terrible for everyone around me, but I can crack out a few hours, Salt Lake City isn't too far out of the way. It's a little north, but I'm still flying east. So I'm kind of curious what people think about that. If they would have just said, "Nah, I'll just stick with my one layover and fly straight across the country," versus what I'm doing. I mean, I'm gaining 6 more hours of an all-inclusive, and an extra 7,000 Delta miles in my back of my account. But I'm basically like just ruining sleep. But it'll make a good YouTube video, I think. So.
But you said you had to pay like I don't know, a fee to get to the airport. Is that not going to be a thing like initially from California?
Yeah.
Like you still having to drive or someone driving you?
So
Like
I can Uber to the airport for like $20 probably. So I mean $20 to $40 depending on the time of day, but it's a pretty early flight out. Well, I guess now I'm having a late night flight, but so I mean I live close to the small regional airport, so that's not too much of a concern. I could probably bully someone into driving me if I buy them dinner or something. So I'm not too concerned about that aspect. I don't need everything to be free. I mean, I'll get $10 off that Uber with my Delta Reserve credit, so that's can use that credit. But we booked private shuttles from the Cancun airport to so they believe it's the Hyatt Breathless Riviera, or it's a Zilara. I can't remember. I think it's a Breathless Riviera. And there was a Zilara we looked at, but it was booked. But that's about 25 minutes from the airport. So again, there's you can get scammed very easily in Cancun. So we decided to spend the $70 for the private shuttle to and from just to be safe. And again, my taxes and fees were like $116. If I add on the Ubers, at most I'm spending $300 on this trip. At most, if I include some souvenirs. So, I mean, that's a win to me. So,
Texas Dog says, "Oh, the exciting trips of youth or poverty." Crying, laughing emoji. I couldn't make that trip to Cancun. Well, that's a party resort. Have fun. Very nice. Yeah, I don't know. After you explain it to me, initially I was like, I don't know, man. Sacrificing your sleep is just never. It just never worked out for me over the years. But hearing the idea of like, okay, now I can save $300 for Ubering back to the airport, there and back. $100 on the parking, 25 per day at the airport parking. That's $400 saved. That's a lot of money you can be using at anywhere, the resort, whatever, the shuttle fees, Uber's there, and you get to be Comfort Plus now for, albeit an extra leg, or actually 2 layovers because you have to go to Atlanta instead of just direct. But at least you're Comfort Plus all the way through, where you do have infinite drinks, I guess, on the plane as well as the Sky Clubs. And you get to be on the same flight as your friend, get there at the same time, save a shuttle. Yeah, I mean, it's convoluted, but I get it. Like it seems like it's something that if I was in your position, I probably would do as well. Just to say, like if it was I think if it was Calby and he was flying somewhere, like there have been times where we've changed the flight just so we can fly together. And he's just like a couple rows back or something like that. Like that's fun. That's always fun, especially if you get there same time instead of like him meandering, for 6 hours or whatever. The time you would get there and he's there. So I don't know. You saved like at least $400. You saved 6,000 miles. The money saved is decent. I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I'm not necessarily saving it. It's money I don't have to spend if I fly to LAX. So it was either I'm basically saving money-wise. I mean, money-wise, I'm not necessarily saving anything other than one last shuttle, which is like $30. I mean, 6,800 miles I'm saving, but I'm saving 6 hours at the resort to instead not have a great night's sleep the night before and have one extra flight. I'm not too concerned about missing my flight to Cancun because I have a 7-hour, 45-minute layover. So if my flight gets delayed, all right, as long as it doesn't get delayed by 7 hours, I'll be fine. As long as I get to Atlanta before 12:55 p.m., I'll be fine. So I'm not going to miss the flight. So that's, I mean, well, crossing my fingers, knock on wood, I guess. And I do love the Salt Lake City airport. You get some nice views. I'll probably be landing. I mean, it'll probably be nighttime. I won't hit sunset, but they got a Sky Club there. I can rock out there for an hour, fly to Atlanta. Again, we'll get like 3.5 hours of sleep, and getting back into the airport won't be a problem because I have clear and TSA pre-check now. So my buddy only has pre-check, but we'll be fine. So again, the 6 hours at the resort first, and instead versus basically losing a day of the trip. So I don't know. Everyone would say I'm young, but I don't know. I think the extra 6 hours of, again, that's more free food, probably better food than at the Sky Club. So I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, so wait,
I'm making sure that I'm not going to run into any issues with check-in because it's me checking in and not my friend who's secondary, and it's my credit card. So again, I probably could transfer everything over to him and put his card on it. But that's one less possible breakage step.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the only thing I'm thinking is you. So you said, so you're actually not saving the money because maybe you were answering it for the other airport, but you mean you still have to go to that same airport where you have to spend $300 at Ubers and.
No. So that was if I was flying out of LAX.
Yeah,
I would spend that money. Some people just fly direct. But I'm just from where I live. Like LAX is great if I'm flying internationally, but if I'm flying, I am flying internationally, but for this specific situation, I don't, for like a 4-day trip, I don't want to spend $100 of parking. I could drive myself, but I also the flight back to LAX would be fairly late in the night. I have to drive at the end of rush hour. I don't want to deal with that the day before I have to go to work. I get back into California at like noon currently. So I get that whole Sunday or Monday to kind of reboot before I go to work. So that's why I'm not doing LAX, just because it would either add probably $300-ish. I would save a bunch of Delta miles, but again, I want to use Monopoly money, not real money. So I booked it originally from John Wayne. So it's John Wayne to Atlanta, 5-hour layover at John Wayne or at Atlanta, and then get to Cancun late. So I'm saving probably like $50-ish with my new one, but I'm gaining 6 hours at the resort versus not getting the first day of my trip, basically.
Dang. So you really do think that those 6 hours is worth, because like, what if you don't sleep enough and then you kind of ruin the first day? Like maybe you're in a bad mood or something.
You just get over it. You just get over it. Like,
really?
Like, well, if I'm crabby, like it's gonna ruin. Like I don't know. I'm gonna be looking at a beach and having unlimited alcohol and food. Like just get over it. I'm not going to be doing anything the night before anyway. So why not spend that night flying versus laying in bed? Like I don't know, just get over it.
That's true. And there's no possible way you could just like fly to Atlanta direct, like from the night before and like stay in like a 3,500 a night Hyatt.
I could. The thing is, I don't want to take that day off of work.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to save the PTO day, so I can't. The latest flight that leaves John Wayne to Atlanta is 12:45. So I could use a vacation day and make the trip a lot easier, stay at the same hotel my buddy is. But I also value that vacation day a lot, just because I get 15 days a year. I get every other Friday off as well. So I can really kind of plan my vacations quite well. But I'm also taking 10 days off to go to Japan next year. So I'm trying to also bank some for next year because I also plan on going back to Europe at some point next year as well, even though I talk crap about it all the time. I'm still going to go. I'm also, again, saving it a PTO day, but not flying out the day before.
I see. Okay. I think that makes sense. For sure. It's I mean, if you're, you're good to get over it, then hell yeah. I don't think I'm as strong as you. I don't think I have the same fortitude. I think I would be like, I'm just too tired, it's too much. I don't want to deal. Well, I guess maybe it's different because I am traveling with her, and that's also like an extra thing to manage. I'm not saying she's a thing to manage. She'd be upset if she heard that. But like I understand. Like I had nights where I was solo, and it's like, yeah, you just like 1 hour, and it's like, all right, let's get up, let's figure it out.
And miles. I do have silver medallion status, and after this weekend, I will have locked in silver medallion for next year. Gold's not in the question. I used to kind of travel a lot from work. This year, all my travel was so close, I had to drive, so that blew. But I probably will be traveling maybe twice a year for work now, so I'll comfortably hit silver probably every year. But so I'm not gonna get upgraded flying out of Atlanta, but flying out of John Wayne, like I just got upgraded from main cabin to Comfort Plus for my flight tomorrow morning. So I don't know. I get really good luck with silver medallion status. People say it gives you nothing, but as long as you're not flying out of a hub, you'll get upgraded most of the time, at least from my experience. And then, Manuel, could I get a direct flight out of LAX? I could, but then I would have to spend real money and not monopoly money. So that's my mindset. LAX would save me probably like 20,000 sky miles, but would cost me $250 and a bunch of hours of driving in LA traffic that I don't want to do. So just because like I live in Southern California, I don't live that close to LAX.
I see.
Because John Wayne's about 30 minutes from me, and I am like southeast of like I'm not inland, I'm like southeast of that. I'm going to dox myself, but just to kind of put in perspective.
Okay. Not bad. AnthonyVentureYT and Kirby. Thank you, Bruce Wayne. Appreciate you, man. JC, I've been to Cancun quite a few times. Had great experience staying at the Excellence Riviera, Cancun. Interesting. Okay. Sleeper, did you check Star Alliance or One World?
So for this trip specifically, I actually just made a video talking about my points balances. But for this trip, I wanted to use Sky Miles. I had kind of like, I know what my points are going to be used for. So I'm not going to really ever, this is not a domestic trip, but it's close enough where I consider a domestic trip where I'm not going to spend my chase points. I don't have enough. I will. I'm working on my Amex green bonus. I'll have a decent amount of points after that, but I don't have a ton of MR points. I use all my Capital One miles. So for me, like if I wanted to use this trip on points, that was my only option. I had some people in some Discord say, Kirby, your velocity is too high. Like, message me like, please, how is your credit report doing? That's just, I'm always working on something. Right now I'm working on 2 cards at the same time, but that's how I want to travel as much as I want to do. I use my points. I think I have like 200,000 IHG points, which I think is a lot. But if you ask most people in the game, that's like nothing. So most people would say I kind of a low points balance because I'm spending them. I'm not like my Delta miles. Like I do not care what my center point is. Like my flight to Minneapolis actually it was $627 cash, which is insane. California airports are stupid expensive. Just a round trip flight. I used like a travel credit that I got for when I was leaving the U.S. Virgin Islands. That we got $1,000 to take a later flight home, which turned our 2-hour layover into a 30-minute layover. But we made the flight, so literally it didn't affect when we got home at all. So that was cool. So I used actually it was probably at $1,200. I had 2 $600 credits. And so I was like, why didn't you use that credit to go to like Europe or something? And I was like, well. I'm going to fly to Minneapolis multiple times a year. I'm not paying $630 in cash. So take my Monopoly money, please. And I'll go for $27.
So that's so interesting. So you really because you referenced it a few times now, just the Monopoly money. Like you want to be able to. You're almost like I think I saw in that points balance video, or no, the quantity versus quality. I didn't watch it fully, but I think there was a scale in some way where there's like a certain level to a Dugras level, and Dugras, infamously wants to have everything covered with points.
That scale was the birth of my channel because that was the first thing I thought of. I should make a YouTube video on this I call the Dugras to Sebi scale. So the Dugras Sports channel and the Ask Sebi YouTube channel. Dugras, he doesn't spend any money to travel, and his whether that's points or cash back, his all the travel cannot affect his family budget, which I think is really cool. That's too much for me. I'm not going to do that. I'll spend a little bit of money. I spend money on food. I have so many little knickknacks. So I have like my nice metal Zeus I got in Athens.
Nice.
That was like too expensive. I wasted some money on that, or my $1 3D printed Coliseum. Like I love stuff. So I'll spend money on that. But you also have like Ask Sebi, who will pay cash for some business class flights, or will spend $1,000 on the hotel. Again, different mentalities for you. I'm definitely more on the Dugras scale. I plan on over the course of the next couple of months, kind of asking creators where they think they fall, and adding more people to the scale would be kind of fun. To feel like, it's a sliding scale, but, different things come up. So it's kind of fun to look at where you're at. But again, especially now that I live in California, I have very like aggressive investing goals as well. I don't want to work forever. So spending $2,500 a month on rent, but also wanting to invest thousands of dollars every month, I gotta pick my battles. It's not like when I was living with 3 other people in a 2-story townhome and my rent was $400 a month in Willoughby, Ohio, and I could just ball out all the time because we were getting these housing stipends from our work that were more than the rent we were paying, and we're just living it up as young professionals. Now that I have like a little loan, again, I spend stupid amounts of money on rent. I need to be a little bit more cognizant of what points I use. So yeah, I'm applying for a bunch of cards. My Experian report is getting absolutely spanked every month, but I'm going to keep going until they shut me down. And once that happens, that's probably when I turn more domestic for my travels. And again, I don't know. I'm doing my best to travel as much as I can. I know I have a very standard 9-to-5 job, so I don't have as much flexibility as some others, and so I got to fit it in where it works. And I think that's kind of my niche. I guess that I'm not someone who has like a very flexible job. And there's a lot of people in the credit card game that can travel basically the whole year, and their YouTube videos basically are their job. And I know that's not me, so I'm hoping that's a little bit more relatable to some people that are single young professionals that again have more standard jobs.
Definitely, it's definitely the thing that I honestly forget the most when making certain videos about like, redemptions here and there. Sometimes I do forget that I'm not necessarily beholden to a typical 9-to-5, as it was like many, many years ago. So it's like, that freedom to travel is like a superpower in some ways. Like if you travel like a loop where, the great redemption pops up, you could just take it like, on a month's notice if you really want to, or even, sooner if it pops up, barring families and all those different things. So that's so true. That's so true, especially how you're maximizing your PTO days for like a Japan trip. That's so cool. I'd imagine most people in life, not in our game, would take their PTO and just like, do nothing, like probably just hang out, watch some.
Well, see, the way my company works is that they're very ambivalent to like, they don't really care like about like you just accrue PTO every month. So you accrue hours and you can carry over whatever you want every year. You just can't, like, you get 15 days. You can cap out at 1.5x your PTO. So 15 days is 120 hours. So you can bank 180. In my mind, who would ever do that? My boss literally had to take a week off of work last week or else she was going to hit her cap. So she just worked from home for a week, which is really sad to me. I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense. But she's like, yeah, but I didn't have any meetings, so I could get so much done. I was like, you're on PTO. And she's like, well, I was going to lose it anyway because I accrue so much because I'm so high up. I'm like, fine, whatever. But that's not me. I use my PTO and I have used it very strategically. I am fortunate enough where I work 9 hours every day and I get every other Friday off. So I can pair things up with a long weekend. I can take like one PTO day, get 4 days off, which is pretty cool. And I have another team member who has the opposite weeks as me. So we can switch days. So if I want to go somewhere on a certain weekend, but it's not my day off, I can switch it. And so, again, I've saved probably 6 PTO days this year because of that. So I'm fortunate that that's kind of like my little perk that I get to do. So I take a lot of long weekends for like hockey games or different things. Like, again, I'm taking one vacation day and I get 4 days off, which pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. And, you're not the first to speak like this about their, jobs and, maximizing, a 3-day weekend or a 4-day weekend. It's freaking amazing when you can get that done, especially, when you're out there, it's like, oh, it's paid, I'm being paid out here at this given day. Miles Smile says, user credits the way you want them. Don't worry about what anyone else is saying. You know what value looks like to you. And as Filmo says, I want to be do-gras, but I'm too lazy. Yeah, I hear that. I would definitely say on your scale, I very much was at my core. I think a lot of us, I think at our core, everyone, we are all do-gras. I think that's why we all love him. It's like we are all a do-gras. Um, I have recently, stopped necessarily thinking to have zero out of pocket. I've been spending a little bit more cash on a couple other things, willing to do that. So I don't know. I think I'm a little bit higher up on the Dugras to Sebi scale. Maybe like I don't know who would be next, but like I'm like one level above. I think starting to think through like I could pay cash for it. Like I'm pretty sure I have to do it tomorrow. I didn't even book the Puerto Rico flight yet. So I was really trying to teeter what's the best way to do it. I honestly think I'm just going to pay cash for it, even though it's like a little over.
It's the whole purpose of the trip, Anthony. The
I
point is,
know. I know.
that goes against the whole point of the meetup, Anthony.
I don't have any good miles, I think, to get me there. Like it's literally, I've never seen such a bad redemption for AA miles. Like it's actually about 1 cent per point. It's like 120,000 American Airlines miles for a $1,300 cash. I'm like, that's insane. And I'm also like, I have so many, maybe I would do it, but I'm like, nah, I could hit a sub, and then I can, because I just got my new American Airlines card that's like 1,000 spend, get 80,000. So I'm like, I could hit the sub.
I was so mad when they denied me for that card, and like people were like mad at me that I was mad. I was like, guys, I'm not actually mad. I'm just like very inconvenienced because like I just wanted a relationship with Citi. Citi is the card my company, like I have a travel card through my company that's Citi. So I was hoping that counted as like a real relationship that they cared about, which they didn't.
Yeah.
But like I was like, I'm more upset because I want American Airline miles, like for this specific use case. I'm not mad that I got denied. I don't think I should have been approved. I knew that I had like a 50-50 chance of being approved. Yeah. And like I don't actually care about the hard pull because the difference between 9 and 10 hard pulls is nothing. So but
that's the thing. It's like when you're at I think what did I check my FICO 8 on Amex? It was like 17 inquiries. I was like, damn. But like going from 1 to 2, that's 100% increase. 2 to 3, it's a 50% increase, and then 17 to 18 was like
once you hit core under your hard increase, like there's no very core, like
right. That's funny. That's a good way.
They probably care a little bit. I mean, they care more about accounts opened, I think, versus hard pulls for most banks. But like I don't know, I was more mad that oh, my buddy got it, but they didn't give it to me. Like what the heck? Like versus like some people get a little too pressed.
Yeah.
Well,
got it. I got it right there.
I kind of want once I was like 5. Like once it's like a week after I got denied, they dropped that 1,000 spend for 80,000 miles. And I almost just like out of just annoyance applied for it again. But I probably would have got the same rep who's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, sorry, man.
What makes you think 8 days later?
One more application and it'll work. So.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm almost considering double dipping it because, like, Citi has the whole thing where it's like, whatever, you can kind of double dip. I was like, maybe 8 days in, maybe I can talk about it, but or maybe apply, but I don't know. We'll see if I do it, but who knows? Phil, I hit my PTO cap at my last job, but got a check for 900 hours when I left. Is that a thing?
Well, we had So I work in HR, so before everyone downloads the video after I said that, but we had a lady who retired, and she had 360 hours of PTO, which was her cap, that we paid her out at her, true salary, but breaking that down to what her hourly rate would be, that's what we paid her out for. Oh. And so that was a very nice retirement check to go with her final paycheck to pay for her whatever vacation she's taken.
I didn't know that's how it works. That's pretty cool. They just, pay you out just the hours. That's pretty interesting. So I'm an Anthony Venture on that scale. Let's go. Just a little bit, T-Set, same thing, man. I had to pay cash for the Puerto Rico flight as well. No good points redemption options for that weekend of PR. Yeah, it's like, unless you're like, I don't know. If I was willing to do 2 layovers like Kirby, and go from a 3.5 hour trip to a 12.5 hour trip, yeah, I could say I could probably spend 30,000 instead of 120,000 AA miles, or a Delta, or if I want to, lay over in Miami real quick, or just do a positioning flight there, I could do it. But I'm just like, man, I'm just trying to go to Charlotte, and then just fly straight there, and then fly straight back to Charlotte, like 1.5 hour drive, easy money. You know, I just want to deal with it.
Or are you going to pay like first class prices, or are you just going to buy book economy tickets? Because if you pay cash economy to the creator meetup, I don't know, man. That's just the depressing.
It's going to be economy. Yeah, it's economy. 3.5 hours. It'll be literally like a same flight from London to Athens. Like it was about 3.5 hours economy. I was like, let's just do it. I don't know. It's such a pain, but you know, maybe I'll come up with some idea in the next couple days. But yeah, that's the plan, I guess. Phil said it was the down payment on this house. Wow, 900 baby, 900 hours. Let's go. Love it.
Gosh, that is like, what is that, like 90 days worth of pay, probably something like that, all at once, for like 3 months worth of pay, maybe, maybe more.
That's true. It could be an easy, depending on how much you're making, you know, 15 grand or something, you know, or more. I don't know how much people are making nowadays. Some of these crazy jobs. Very, very cool. What did I want to bring up with you? There's something else in the conversation we just had that I wanted to bring up. I'm kind of forgetting it though at the moment. What were we talking about? We were talking about the cash flights, Puerto Rico. Oh yeah. So Filmo isn't even flying economy from Syracuse to Newark, 48-minute flight. That's insane. That's insane. You're insane. That's actually crazy. I could do, and that's actually how long it would be to do like a positioning from GSP or Greenville to Atlanta. It's about that long, but I don't even think that would yield any results. Maybe it would actually. I don't know. Maybe we gotta look. Maybe it would make sense. I don't know. I think from Atlanta I could do some cheap delta, but I don't know. We'll see. I wanted to ask you though, because I think we talked about it briefly, but I didn't get the full in-depth story on your Japan trip. You know, so you said you took 10 PTO days. You're going to be going to Japan next July. How much do you have booked? You said you're doing business class, but do you have the hotels and all those things booked? Like, what's
no? So I haven't booked any hotels yet. I've been kind of waiting a little bit, and I still have a ton of time, but I am kind of thinking that I am running out of time to wait. I'll wait for two specific things. One is Park Hyatt Kyoto availability. There's been 2 instances since I started the trip, like thinking of the trip, that where availability dropped and I missed it by like a few minutes. It felt like it could have been phantom availability for all I know, and it might never have been there. So I'm kind of just waiting. And the second thing is I'm waiting for the Hilton cards to have FNCs again. You can't bank on it, and they currently have elevated offers, I think, until January. So that's sort of, I mean, once I hit January, it kind of is like, all right, I'm 6 months out. Like, once they might have those FNCs again, but they might not have them until like April, and then I have to spend the money to get the FNCs, and so it might just that I'm not going to be able to use it like I thought I was hoping. I was kind of hoping they would drop the next bonus would include them, but again, you can't bank on those things. Yeah. So I think I might just pick up the like no annual fee Hilton card in January, like right before it drops, or the Surpass, because I would like to have gold status, and I plan on doing a Hilton Grand Vacation. I know we probably bring it up every live, but the second I see a 75,000 point or 100,000 point offer, I'll just do it. I'll drive to Vegas and pretend I never travel and tell them no a bunch of times. I have like, from just work travel, I have like 30,000 Hilton points, and I have silver status locked up for next year already. So I need the points. There's some nice small luxury hotels that I've stolen from you that I've written down that I'm looking at. There's the one in Kyoto. And I'm also looking at, there's the Park Hyatt Tokyo that isn't available to be booked, but should be up and running by the time I go. So I'm not sure when they're going to release that availability, but you can't like book it even in cash right now. So like I said, the last time I checked. So I might not be able to get the Kyoto, but maybe the Tokyo. We'll see. So, but I haven't booked anything yet. I have a bunch of things up in the air. I also know that if I can get Park Hyatt Kyoto availability, the next night will be in a capsule hotel, and that will be a YouTube video. I'll compare the two.
I like that.
Again, because I have IG Platinum status and like 200,000 points. So there are some intercontinentals that are pretty cheap in Japan that I might take advantage of. Originally, I was going to use those points for a different Caribbean trip before we booked Hyatt. So if I still have those points lying around, because I probably will take another trip in April or May. I don't know what that'll look like yet. I just figured out that's what I normally do, so I'll probably do that again. But those points are available. That'll cover some of the hotels. But like I said, I will go from Glitz and Glam to the hostel the next night. That won't matter to me.
Yeah.
So there's like a couple like specific nights that I want to book. But other than that, I don't know, I'll figure it out. I don't even know what cities I'm visiting yet. But I might like call an audible while I'm in Japan too. So.
Gotcha. And I did just want to note for you, in case this helps, Park Hyatt Tokyo is available actually to start booking. I actually just got it up on the screen here. And we could see, let's see, points. Let's see if it's available. I just picked random nights in July. Let's see. Yeah, we got 40K a night, twin beds. This is July 14th to the 15th. So yeah, if you're looking to book that, now's the time for sure.
I legitimately might. I can't. Like I leave around the 14th, and I might get there on the 16th. I don't know. The day I lose a day or gain a day, I forget. So, but I legitimately might book that like after this live, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was thinking about it too because it was available. I have 4 nights at the Centric. Actually, I might be blocking it with the comment. Seth, shout out. But I have the Centric booked for 4 nights, and I was like, do I want to go to Toronto? And I bounce back and forth. I ended up staying in the Centric, but Park Hyatt was available for only like 5K more a night. It's just a little bit less favorable of a location necessarily. I mean, it's a little bit, maybe 3x the walk to the nearest train, but there is a direct shuttle basically to that train station from Narita Airport. So it's a whole mix of things, but it does seem like it's a great hotel. I think they even have a shuttle that goes to that train station back and forth. So who knows? I mean, I might even end up booking it anyway.
I fly into Narita, so if they have a shuttle from Narita, that would be like so nice. So
yeah, I believe not the hotel itself, but there is a shuttle that goes directly to that train station that's right next to like a 20-minute walk from this hotel, and then you could take their free shuttle back to the hotel that's there. If you can find out where it is. I read online, some people are like, couldn't find out where that freaking shuttle picks you up. They were freaking out. So, yeah.
I want to do it because that's like kind of the white whale, I think, of the game. If you like, other than like Bora Bora in the Maldives, it's kind of like the next thing, like, the Park Hyatt Kyoto. But like, I would like, give me those 10,000 Hyatt point a night hotels. Oh my gosh, I love that. So,
yeah, all day. Yeah, Kyoto's tough, man. Although I don't know, people say it's amazing. I think it'll be super high end. Will it be all it's cracked up to be? I don't know. I think it's going to be a great location. I think it's going to be fun. Can you have a similar experience in the lower end ones, like 9,500, the Hyatt Place? And obviously it's a lot further away, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. Oh, look at this, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I didn't realize, but ain't nobody booking that, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Definitely not. So yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I'm also flying home from Taiwan, so I'll be spending a couple days in Taiwan. Just again, hit that one extra country. Like if I'm gonna when I travel, like I'm not gonna just visit one place. Again, even though I hate the idea of like, oh my gosh, I have to find a hotel. So when I get to Japan, should I immediately leave Tokyo and go like where I want to go and make my way back? Do I like make my way south and then fly from the Hiroshima airport to Taiwan, maybe? So I have to think about that, but I'm not thinking about any of that. I don't think about anything until January. So, that's my mentality. That's probably I get the last week of the year off. I work at an aerospace company. Aerospace basically shuts down last week of the month, the last week of the year for Christmas. So I'll do a lot of planning over that week I have off. But when it comes to when it comes to hotels, it is going to be almost exclusively like 15,000 per night Hyatt hotels, and then if I can snag 2 nights at the Park Hyatt Kyoto. Again, I don't have like a ton of chase points anyway, so once I finish my sign-up bonuses I'm working on, I'm going to be using my 2 chase cards I have just to help do that. I use my Chase in cash, not nefariously like some people do, but I do buy Amazon gift cards to buy things on Amazon. Again, just whatever I can get. Like, I don't know, I eat out way too much. So again, I'll buy my $25 gift card and go to the restaurant and use my gift card. But
not bad. Yeah, I've done the same thing in the past as well. So yeah, I hear that 100%. And it's a lot, 45,000 a night. It's freaking. My plan now is I don't think there's going to be any availability except for the one night. I think my best bet is to just kind of leave that night open until like a couple weeks out, a month out, and just see if there's any last minute cancellations. Try to scoop it up. That's kind of my plan to get the second night at the Park Kyoto. If not, then yeah.
I think also I'll have platinum status for IG when I get because I hold the business card, and I'm trying to find a way to get diamond. We'll see. I'll probably make a video on that if I'm able to find a way to get diamond. But for Hilton, I'll have the surpass. Even if I don't have an increased welcome offer, I'll apply for the card right before I go if I don't have it already, or I'll upgrade my card just so I have gold while I'm there. And I will stay on a couple of Hiltons as well, at least for a couple nights. But I'm more excited about the Singapore business class flights and the EVA Air business class flight home. Nice. My mom's told me, like, Kirby, once you fly business class, like, how are you going to go back to flying on a CRJ and main cabin? I don't know. I'll get over it. But we'll see.
For sure. Yeah. And yeah. So that, so you didn't even mention, so the Singapore business, and that's obviously assuming LAX, you're flying from there.
Yeah, LAX to Narita.
Sick. And then EVA Air, you're going to be taking that from Taiwan back to
LAX.
That's sick.
75,000 Capital One miles through Aeroplan. I don't know. I think it's if you're going to Asia, Aeroplan is like
legit.
It's so goated. Like, I'm flying on a 777-300, so it's not like the best. It's not an A380 or whatever. Some of the other planes. I work in aerospace. I literally work for a company that helps build those planes, so I should know more about planes. But it's not like the best business class. I'm not gonna have a bar, no Q suite or anything like that. But I'm also kind of testing myself. Right, this is my first time. I'll do so. It's not like low end business class. It's like medium business class, from what I've heard. Which again, I'm not complaining about any business class, but I think it'll be a great experience. I've seen the photos. I've seen some videos of people taking the same route. I'm probably on the same plane, to be honest, and it looks pretty nice. So,
hell yeah!
I booked it so far in advance, like 11 months in advance, and so I also have the best seats. I don't know if it's like 4A or something like that. On the they say is the best seat on the plane for you're not next to the bathroom. It has a window that I don't know. And it's a 1-2-1 configuration, so on the one.
Oh wow, that's gonna be great. That's gonna be very, very fun. I can't wait for you to do that trip. I'm excited to hear about your EVA Air experience. That's gonna be. I would love. I would have loved to have done EVA Air, but through Air Canada, it's like they don't release more than one seat. Like it's per plane. It seems like maybe I don't know. Maybe there's a difference when.
Well, the thing, you can find so much availability. Like I was told, like Japan. Like, and that's Taiwan, so it's a little different. Japan availability is so hard. I mean, if you're willing to book, like, they book, I don't know, 12 months in advance, they release seats. But if you just like do it for the day they release it, or a couple days after they release it, you'll find it so easily. Again, you have to book it that far in advance to be okay with that, but it's not that hard. I think people kind of make it seem a lot harder than it is. And then again, EVA Air, you can find that literally almost whenever. It feels like. So, but again, they do a little bit. I don't think I've ever seen them release more than one seat. So
they don't do
unless you want to fly home the night before your wife does. I don't know.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, I'll never separate us. But yeah, unfortunately, But what miles you'll usually get to Japan? ANA, Amex, so class premium economy is fine with me. If I can get ANA business class, that would be ideal, but hard to find. Yeah, I mean, at least for me, it's going to be Air Canada ANA or ANA direct from Amex. Once I have some Rakuten points hit, we'll see. And then hopefully it doesn't have to be, but it'll be AA miles to book Japan Airlines business. home or maybe a round trip, we'll say.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Capital One because I had 150,000 points. I used them all. I have 202 Capital One miles, 35 cents of cash back, and I don't think I'll ever use those cards again. So I kind of feel bad. I just kind of used them once and left, and I don't know, feel kind of broke their heart a little bit. Maybe that's why they want to approve me for Venture X or let me product change to a Venture X, because then I would put all my spend on those cards, but oh well.
The banks are hating you one by one. You're the worst customer for them.
And now Amex is like, hey, please apply for this 200,000 and business gold mailers. I'm like, ooh, I don't have $50,000 to spend right now, but if I did,
yeah, for sure.
Like everyone keeps asking, where can I find the 300,000 platinum business business platinum links? I'm like, oh, I got them all, but I'm not applying for it. So
yeah, maybe you gotta prepay your rent for a couple of years. Yeah. Oh yeah, true. Actually, the entire year. Jeez. Daniel said, Daniel, what's going on, Daniel? Kirby will get approved for the Venturix if he uses my referral. Yeah, Daniel's got the magic touch, man. He's he makes magic happen. So yeah, I thought Kirby was on a live with Anthony. What's Joe doing here? Wepa! Absolutely. Yeah.
Been a lot longer than 5 minutes. He's really getting his $50 worth.
It's a penny a minute. Very nice. He said EVA releases more award seats to their own members. They transfer from city, so that's a great sweet spot. Good to know. I had assumed something similar to ANA, so I need to get some city though. Really want to see if I can get approved.
I don't think city transfers 1-to-1 with EVA. I could be wrong and spreading propaganda, but I don't think they do. Maybe it's like a 5-to-4. So I think I looked at that too. Maybe that's Capital One who doesn't transfer 1-to-1 with EVA.
Let's see if this propaganda.
Oh, he passed it.
EVA 1-to-1 if you got the Premier, Elite and the Prestige and the AT&T Access more. Not bad. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Absolutely. Yeah, I got to see if I can get a Premier one of these days, honestly. Deborah here says, I'm considering dropping the Amex Plaid for the Venture X. It costs $90 to go to a lounge for us as children of $30 each. So if we don't use Centurion Lounge anymore, what's the point? What do you think? What do you think on that? You're somebody who said the Platinum's not for you on a recent video.
I mean, I'm too. I need to get my bread up before I get a Platinum. So, people say someone tell me on the Discord I was a hypocrite because I talk about the reserve and how much I love it, but my reserve only cost me $350 this year. So I get all these benefits for $350 instead of $600 or $650 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I hate I'm just that's a lot of money, and I have to remind myself sometimes that I can make some big boy purchases and it won't actually affect my bank account. I got my 6-month emergency fund. I shouldn't care about spending $300 on a couch, but I had to nickel and dime my couch. So that's something I don't know. Especially when I first started my job, I was did not have a lot of cash reserves. I was still paying for my car. And it wasn't until 2 years. I don't know when the transition happened, but now I'm 2 years into my big boy career. I'm oh yeah, I kind of have money now. I probably could afford the Platinum and use the Platinum for all its benefits and totally win the game, but I don't know. I just don't want to spend the money because that's still money that leaves your bank account. There's no way to stop that from happening. So,
yeah.
I mean, especially if you're trying to bring kids into a lounge, I don't know what the Venture X charges for kids, but if you're gonna spend $90 in a lounge no matter what, I mean, what's the difference between the Platinum and the Venture X other than $400? So,
yeah, 100%.
Unless you really love Lululemon, then forget everything I just said.
That's true. Yeah, that's the biggest deciding factor. I mean, do you want $300 worth of joggers per year, or do you want cheaper lounge access? I mean, you're gonna have to pick. You have to pick one, Deborah. It's gonna have to be one.
I do need some more workout clothes, so maybe I should apply for the Platinum just for that reason.
I would love to see that. Maybe some members only content. Daniel says, y'all see the news for the Canada Platinum card. I did want to look into this. I did just look into this, and this is pretty interesting. This is breaking news from Daniel here. So American Express Canada adds limits to lounge access, Priority Pass, Plaza Premium. Now, this is interesting. So American Express Canada has announced that starting on January 1st, 2027, so next year, not this year coming up, but the following year, they will no longer have unlimited access to Plaza Premium and Priority Pass lounges. Cardholders will receive 6 visits per calendar year to each network. So 6 Plaza Premium, 6 Priority Pass. Isn't the first time we've seen add lounge limits internationally, with Spain adding 20 visa limit and all that. Profitability is obviously dramatically different in other cards, overcrowding, and they don't mention anything else. But I'm guessing, these kind of things kind of hit the mark because all the U.S. consumers are all like, "Oh no, is that going to come to us? Are we going to get hit with limits?" We know lounge access has been getting hit hard from a lot of different of these issuers. So, the fact that we receive this around the world, who knows? There might be a time where, it's we're not unscathed in any way in the U.S. Like, Delta has been limited, right, on their reserve. Didn't it used to be infinite reserve, and now it's like 15?
Now it's 15.
Yeah.
But it's 15 days. So if you have like a layover and use it multiple times, it's like get the whole day. But yeah, you can spend $75,000 to get unlimited access, I want to say. So, but when it comes to like international cards, they're all terrible. So I'm not too surprised by this because they're probably not making as much money on the international versions of cards, I would assume.
Yeah.
But I don't think platinum card holders in America should worry, just because I think that's kind of the whole point of that card. So I don't. But when it comes to Plaza Premium lounges, the one in Rome, absolutely amazing. Because when I went to Europe, I had my Venture card, and the Venture card, I think it ended at the end of 2024, but it had 2 Plaza Premium visits or Capital One lounges. And so we were able to use that on our layover. Absolutely amazing breakfast that we had in the one in Rome. So
nice.
Again, if the Venture card had just 2 passes, I would love to use it, but I'm just gonna sit in my drawer.
I know.
Venture X for me.
That card would have been so nice to have as when Party Pass existed on it. Like, I have the card now, and it's there's no use for that. I get them in other ways, obviously, but if I didn't, it would have been nice, for sure. Miles of Smiles says Party Pass lounges in the U.S. are boring compared to international ones. Oh, of course, all day. That Rome Plaza Premium, I'm trying to think of where I didn't get to go into any lounges. Really didn't have enough time. I think we just had access to like the ITA business lounge. I had access to it because I was flying business class or something like that, but I just never went in. So yeah, that's interesting. I never actually followed up. We have still visited the Delta Lounge for the past 2 years since the child rule change, as the fees are paid with airline incidental credits. Yeah. If you got the platinum, technically you can have like 4 free passes to the Delta Sky Club for your I guess I don't know if children are, I guess you're saying children are paid, but like how I got my wife in, it's like $50 per, for sure. Daniel says the PP Lounge, the strong PP in SFO is nicer than the Centurion. I'd imagine that's about to change when Terminal 1 gets remodeled and the Centurion gets a massive upgrade. Interesting. Kevin Peace is crazy, but I like the platinum benefits so much I'm considering getting another. I see good value, and that's before using any FHR, Lululemon, or SAC. Man, I was checking. It's been years because I haven't had the platinum in years, but now that I have it for like a small amount of time, I'm just like, let me check FHR. What's been happening in the last couple of years? And damn, it's it was easier back then to find ones that were like $200 to $300 for a single night. I couldn't really find any. I couldn't really find it. There was a couple places I could find that were like $350 a night. I was like, all right, this is manageable. But yeah, way different than it was maybe even just like a few years ago when I was booking some. I remember booking, a couple like ones that I re-looked at. It was like $200 a night, and I used it, and it covered like most of it except for like taxes and fees. Now it's like the same hotel is over $300, for the same day. It's like, damn, they really a little bit of inflation on the hotels, making that FHR. Even though 300's better, it's still a little tough, definitely. So I'm trying to figure out, can I game it? Can I like, prepay one now? Maybe cancel, get a credit back on the card, wait till January 1st, get another credit, use my negative balance, and then book like a $600 stay or something. You know, and one thing I found interesting too is even though like we were so adamant about a one night FHR, like you know, if it has one night, it kills everything, which is true, and it's majority of properties that's fine. But I've been finding a couple of properties that I actually wanted to stay in happen to be places that have 2-night minimums. So you literally can't, it won't show you any availability for the property unless you're like, oh, 2 nights consecutively. Then it'll be like, okay, it's 300 per night. And I'm like, damn, actually, some of the properties I want to do, like 2 nights would have been okay. It would have worked. But obviously, that
I don't know. In my mind, like, if FHR, like, I love the Delta Stage credit because I can use any hotel I want. It's just Expedia. Or like FHR, like, and I don't care about like the only thing I care about is having free breakfast, and I'm more likely to get free breakfast. I know I'm gonna get free breakfast at a Holiday Inn versus having to make sure I have status so I can get free breakfast at a very nice hotel. And I can have bacon at a Holiday Inn, and that's all you need for breakfast. Everything else is a scam. So just load up on bacon and orange juice, and you're good for the rest of the day. So
true.
Let me stay at my Bunker Hill hotel for $99 and just well, they didn't have free. Actually, they did have free breakfast. And it was actually like you ordered breakfast, so that was actually an exception. But like when I travel for work and I stay at a Holiday Inn, I'm like the happiest man in the world. So
nothing wrong with a nice Holiday Inn for sure. And see, this says Vegas, Orlando, DC, Nashville, San Diego, Phoenix are really good for FHR with properties around the 300 mark. Yeah, I was looking at Nashville. I was like, yeah, Nashville has some cool places that I know about. Vegas obviously is always great. Orlando, yeah, definitely. Haven't checked Phoenix or San Diego yet, but yeah, all day for the rest of them. For sure. Never says Pass is pretty lame in most places. Packed Costco foods, reheated frozen dishes, nothing made from scratch. Oh yeah, that freaking Priority Pass, the club in Charlotte was like the worst. It was like the worst. It was like a nice area to hang out in, but the food was the worst thing ever. It was it was terrible. It was really not anything to be excited about.
I'm doing a quick smash and dash of the Minneapolis Sky Club because I have another friend who's flying in. I'm actually going to Cancun with. He flies in like an hour before I do, and then I land a little bit an hour later. My buddy's picking all of us up, but before he does that, I'm running into the Sky Club. I'm going to waste my visit. I still have 7 more visits for the year, so I'm not concerned. I'm going to waste a visit. Walk in, grab one of those. Hopefully, they have those chocolate parfaits, and grab a nice little. See if they'll pull me a shot of Jaeger and just get right out.
Hell yeah, that's the way to do it. That is absolutely the way.
And then we're going straight to Culver's, man. Oh my! Anyone from the Midwest, too. I miss Culver's, and they had Culver's in Ohio, but it's different. Like the farther you get from the like I'm a Minnesota fan, but like the mecca of Wisconsin, like Minnesota Culver's are good. Ohio Culver's, they don't have not made with the same love, but that's like the first thing I'm doing, and then going straight to the casino right after. So that's like it's gonna be a perfect day.
Yeah. What's your thought about what's your thought about the best chicken places like that you can get stuff from? Like Culver's, obviously, I get the Butterburger and too. I'm all with you. Culver's like probably my favorite. Like if you're gonna have to do fast food, it's there.
So I think out of all the chicken places, I think the buffalo chicken tenders from Culver's will always be my favorite, but I also love the combo of their fries, both top tier. Like if I just pure like chicken dish, other than like maybe like a full meal combined together, would be I don't know. I love Chick-fil-A nuggets, but oh my god, it just creaming in the mouth. Get the custard. Oh my god.
Wow.
Makes you feel something. Dude, a concrete mixer. Oh, dude, I spent so much money at Culver. So you won't be able to see it on camera, but I used to donate plasma. So I have a little hole in my arm. Looks like I do heroin, but I promise I don't. And I would get 200. Basically, I'd get like $150 a week doing this because especially right post COVID, they really needed blood and plasma, so they give you a lot more than they do now. And so it's right near campus. I'd go there and get my $150 every week. I didn't need to have a job, and I would probably spend about $75 at Culver's. Well, maybe not a week. That'd be a little excessive, but probably twice a week, every week. And then the rest of that money, I'd go to the casino in Shakopee. So I was able to kind of run around in college without having a job or in grad school and not having my bank account affected. So absolutely lethal combo. Right next door was also a Chick-fil-A and a Raising Cane's. So don't get me started on. I had a Texas toast from Cane's.
I have to say, I did go to a Canes for the first time with Calby maybe a year ago, and I didn't like it. I mean, we were in Kentucky. I wasn't about it. I didn't like it at all.
You gotta, I don't know. You have to go to Racing Canes on college campuses. That's just like how it's like at least there's one, like, I just have vivid memories of going from like Gopher football and hockey games straight to Canes, the lines out the door, so everything is 100% fresh. Get put a little tender between two pieces of Texas toast, go crazy, but people will say it's bland, and you're like, well, that's what the sauce is for. So
that's what the sauce is for.
You put bean sauce on it. It's different.
Damn. And I actually think one of the last questions I have for you too, which is actually, with how the credit card game is changing, are you going to be pruning your setup and focusing on specific point ecosystems, or are you going to prioritize more for sign-up bonuses? You know, you're going to cut that Delta Reserve finally, or what's the deal?
So I'm going to ask for a retention offer and see what they give me. I really will have to look at what I'll be doing next year. So it'll come up in May, so I have time. I don't know. I'm leaning towards keeping it just because it is the only card that gives me lounge access right now. I need to find a PP pretty badly. That's what my Venture X is supposed to be for, especially because I might start flying American a little bit more, like probably like Delta and American will take up like 90% of my domestic flights next year. So having the option for the DFW lounge would be cool. But when it comes to pruning or sign-up bonuses, it'll be sign-up bonuses. Or if I'm not working on a sign-up bonus, like I just have the MX Green and the Blue Business Plus for MR point earning cards. But I could get 15,000 points for like $2,000 worth of spend on an employee card for my Blue Business Plus. So I could kind of train that. But I would ideally like to have access to every ecosystem. So as things change, I can bounce back and forth. I have a Freedom Unlimited and Chase Sapphire Preferred for Chase, so I can product change a card and I can upgrade or my Chase Sapphire Preferred if I ever choose to. I have the Capital One Duo, but the baby version with the Venture card. So, I mean, I don't have any city cards, and it kind of sucks because they get American. I start flying American maybe more often, so I don't know. We'll see about that as well. So I'm just going to keep doing sign-up bonuses until they tell me no, and if I have to take a year off, I take a year off, do domestic travel, and rock my Capital One Duo. That's kind of my plan right now, but I mean, I'm just going to keep going full throttle, and I'll have enough cards that I'll be able to piece together a setup that works for me no matter what. So people say like, oh, what happens when they deny you cards? It's like, I don't know. I find a different card. Like, I earn my points fairly quickly. So I don't know. People worry too much about things. And I'm just going to keep going forward and see what happens.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way. People comment like, yeah, this is all good and well until you get, denied. I'm like, all right, I've been denied plenty of cards. I just choose a different, ecosystem of the game.
Philip, what points with Philip is him and his wife have been playing for like, I don't know, 20 cards this year. And they keep getting approved. Like, I think he was talking to John's live earlier. He's like, oh, have you heard of this card? I'm working on it right now. And we're like, no one's ever heard of that card, Philip. He's like, well, it's a 2% cashback card. I was like, why did you apply for that? He said, I get $200 of cashback. I'm like, fair. He's like, I'm on a sub. I'm like,
he has every card. Every card he gets, like, no matter what. It's like, if it's a new card, go for it. Why not? Miles asking, risk card in your future?
I don't say Marriott's, so... But I know Marriott is more of people always say it's a FNC game. If I had a 524, I got 724 now, and I want a Hilton card. So it's like I'll be at 824, and then when cards do start falling off, like it'll be over a year until I fall under 524 again. So probably not. I would love the Boundless just so I can have say no matter what hotel I stay at least get a free water bottle. That'd be cool. And the Ritz card would be a great way to have the priority pass. But there's just none like there's not a lot of cards that offer priority pass that I want. So that's why I always complain about the Venture X. Just because I know that card would be perfect for me, and I would probably lower my velocity if I had a Venture X, so I could put more spend in Capital One. But because I don't have a system right now that I really care to earn points in, like I'm just going to go full throttle. I'm going to get my chasing cash sub. I'll get 75,000 points. So I'll have about 100,000 chase and another 50,000 Hyatt.
Nice.
So basically I have 150,000 Hyatt points when that's done. And that'll be enough points for me in Japan. And then I don't know what I'll do after that. Not stay at Hyatt's for a while. I spend like a lot of money on gas in California. So I throw that on my IHG business card. So I'm kind of earning a decent amount of IHG points when I travel for work. That's IHG. So that'll probably be the hotel I stay mostly at. And we'll just see. I'll go to their, I think IHG offers their version of Hilton Grand Vacations for 50,000 points. So it's not a ton, but if there's a location in Vegas, like I don't know, I can go to Vegas for the weekend. That's only about 3.5 hours away. So
nice.
I don't know. There's always more ways to get points. People people are too afraid of getting cut off. I'm like, nah. There's always more ways to get points, and if you can't, can earn some cash back. But
yeah,
you're not going to travel as much as you do every year, so I may as well travel while I can. But again, I take a lot of long weekends back to the Midwest, and if I had to spend a year where I'm basically only doing that and then maybe visiting a couple other random states, that'll be fine for a year. So we'll see.
Definitely. And Fun says, dude, I just got the Tony Wave haircut. Now you change it. God damn it, Fun. The silver price is way up, Anthony. I'm looking hard at your silver due. Oh my God.
Anthony is single-handedly changing the silver stock price right now.
Isn't that amazing? Can't believe it. Silver is just way up. It's definitely not that, the dollar is debasing and crypto is becoming more interesting. It's definitely because I am the silver fox. Damn, send me a DM. I want to see your Tony Wave haircut if you really told people. He said he was going to get it, so I'm excited to hear. That'd be great. Miles says, you think the Delta Reserve is a better card for your setup than the Platinum? That's interesting.
I think it is. It is for me because it's this year $350 versus $600 or $895, and it gives you that NQD head start where I might be able to hit silver medallion status without it, but this year I wouldn't without it because I'll hit probably I probably would have been 900 MQD short if I didn't have it, and so just that silver status is not the best thing ever, but just knowing I can get upgraded to Comfort Plus on about 75% of my flights that don't involve Atlanta, that's pretty nice. At least leaving my airport, I always get Comfort Plus. When I fly back from Minneapolis, I normally don't. But when I fly to Wisconsin, which now I'll be doing that on American because there is a direct flight to Chicago, and that's close enough. But when I was flying back to Milwaukee, every single flight was Comfort Plus. And so being able to save money that way. Again, Delta stays easy $200 off. I don't really use Resi anymore because California restaurants are too expensive. I'll just go to Chick-fil-A instead and be happy. So that the not using the Resi credit at $20 a month kind of hurts. So that kind of made me rethink things. But it also depends on the companion pass because I thought the companion pass would be super easy to use, but all of my friends that I want to travel with all live in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Ohio. So they either have to come to me and we can go to Hawaii together and then that's cool, or I have to meet up with them in Atlanta or Minneapolis, I guess. So that kind of defeats the purpose of saving money on the companion pass. So obviously I can just make friends in California and make life a lot easier.
Yeah.
But for the people that I've been talking about traveling with, it doesn't work. So we'll see if I will use it, but I don't know how much value I'll get out of it. I might, but then you can also get first class with the companion pass I have, but you still have to pay cash for the one ticket. So I'm definitely only going to use main cabin and just bank on getting upgraded to Comfort Plus, which is what happened last time I used the companion pass. But so because I moved to California, that's great for my personal bank account, even though I'm spending more money. I got paid more versus if I stayed in Ohio. And I think it'd be better long-term career-wise for my credit card game. Just ruined everything. So,
yeah,
and it didn't ruin anything, but just for that specific, the Delta Reserve became a lot less profitable for me. I think I'll still keep it. Any kind of retention offer, I'll keep it. Plus, I know if I downgrade to the Platinum, they'll probably give me an upgrade offer within a week. So,
Yeah, true.
Don't want to bank on that because I think Amex will crack down on that one day. But we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I have to just remark, it is killing me. Fun says, I'm growing the hair. I'm not kidding. My barber said I need to let the top curl a little bit more before I can get a cut like you. My barber literally laughed out loud, said I'm too old to get this kind of hairstyle. I said, I don't care if Tony's got it. I got to have it too. They're going to think I'm your dad at the meetups. Oh my God.
Maybe he's just trying to take her spot. He's going to look exactly like you, and he's just going to the new Anthony Venture.
I don't the damn Venture. Oh my God, Anthony Venture in the house. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. It's actually I don't really know that many people with this kind of hairstyle, to be honest. So I don't know. It's kind of like a weird. I don't know. I just wake up and it looks like that. I don't know why, but it's a wave. Oh God, fun. And I like what Deborah said. She was saying what you were saying. Travel when you can. As a Gen X mom, we only stopped traveling until our youngest child was 5. Other 7, 8, it's not forever. I feel it. I feel that. It's like if you can do it now, go.
There's certain places where you travel that are designed for like younger people. Like younger people have more fun in certain locations, and then when you get older, certain locations may seem more fun. Like the resort I'm staying at, definitely like I think someone mentioned, it's more of a party one, which I don't know if it is. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
But I kind of think of like some of the places I'm going, I'm like, yeah, I'd have more fun now than maybe when I had a family. I might have more fun someplace else. Like, I don't think like I want to go to Thailand, but I think that'll be more fun to do when I'm 26 versus when I'm like 50.
Yeah.
Just so hopefully there'll be a more. I'm not. I like traveling, but I also like hate traveling at the same time. Like I dread like oh my gosh, like putting everything together sucks. I hate planning things.
Yeah.
I'd rather just show up. Like just it's a lot. And like sometimes when I'm on vacation, I'm like, oh gosh, I can't wait to go home. And then I'm like, if I get home, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go on my next trip. I had so much fun.
Yeah.
Like especially like I spent 10 days in Europe, and I was like, that dude, I had to get back to America ASAP. Even though Athens, which is what we ended our trip with, was my favorite part, and every day was like the best. But when I was in bed, I'm like, gosh, like, give me back to America, please. And the second I left, I'm like, okay, when can I go back? Or I didn't get to see the islands of Greece. I'd love to go to Crete, and I'm like thinking all these things. So it's a love-hate relationship. Definitely a first world problem, but.
No, definitely. I also think of the perspective like, okay, I'm doing this now. Like we traverse these countries, you figure out the way it works, travel, all these different things. Of course, like you said, things can be outdated over time, but like I always assume like, okay, I'm going to earn my stripes, figure out these places. So this way, when we, we'll eventually have kids one day, then you're like a pro, you go there and you're like a pro, like, oh yeah, this is how you traverse the whole place. And, they look at you as your dad and you're like, oh, wow, very cool. So I always assume like everything I see, I'll probably see twice just to share that experience with them. But it's like, it's good going into it instead of being stressed, like, oh, where do I go? And it's like, no, I've been here, I've done this already, maybe it's a little bit rusty because it'll be years between, and things may change. You never know. Maybe Italy one day will have, Japan style trains, and it's like super futuristic and bullet everywhere, even though they're already pretty good.
I might take at least here in California, it takes about 30 years to get the environmental study done, and then another $50 billion to lay one piece of track. So
right.
Maybe not here.
That's right. Yeah. That's funny. Greece is beautiful. I went to the Greek islands before I became a mom. So I will say, I definitely, if you want to get to just these two, and then I think we'll end it there, unless you have some other things to mention. But Miles says, what cards are you planning on closing by the end of the year?
I don't think I'm going to be closing anything. I don't think I'll be applying for any more cards this year. I looked at my last few videos. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of watch me applies here. I've been kind of going crazy. I had some extenuating circumstances where my parents had a nice little crazy housing expense, and I was able to put I was allowed to put some credit card spend on it for them, and then they just reimbursed me. So I got 2 subs out of that, which was pretty cool. And my very first credit card, second question, it was the U.S. Bank Cash Plus card. I think it might have been a secured version when I originally got it, and that's what it turned into. So again, 5% on fast food and movie theaters, was insane for a high schooler. And also loved going to the movies. And they 2% back on something else as well. So I had a bunch of cash back on that card I never used. And then I product changed it to a Smartly, which is what it is right now, because I knew I wasn't going to hit 100K invested with US Bank, but I was thinking of moving over my a retirement account and my Roth IRA with US Bank, and then keeping a lot of cash at the $50,000 level for 3% cash back. And then they nuked the card before I did anything. Like the day after I product changed it, the rumors came out, so that was cool. And then it's just been sitting in my closet ever since. So it is a really pretty card, and I wish I could use it. I technically have I was like grandfathered in at the 2.5% cash back level, but yeah, no, it's kind of sad. I wish my first card was like my Chase Freedom or something, where it's like I can actually use it, but now I have to remember like once a year to actually put a charge on the card, because that will like kill my credit. So I might probably change it back to like a cash plus one day, but I don't really care about cash back. I try to earn monopoly money, not real money. So,
right. And then what was your very first credit card? I wonder. I wonder what it was. I feel like it was. Let me think. Let me see if I can guess what your first card was. No, I'm not really getting anything. My first thought was Discover, but I don't think it was that. I feel like it was.
I literally just said it, Anthony. It's the US Bank Cash Plus.
Oh, sorry. I'm just sorry. Never mind. Oh goodness, terrible. Where is my mind? Really, that's your first card? Interesting. It's not typical.
Well, usually it's always a weird card. My parents banked with US Bank, so they just like took me to the office and they were like, "Hey, what credit card can you get?" So I turned 18, and they're like, "You need a credit card." I was like, so that's what they gave me. Because they're like, "Well, do you spend a lot of money at fast food?" I was like, "I do enjoy Culver's." And they're like, "5% cash back." I'm like, "Let's go."
Not bad. Yeah, it was better than my freaking growing up story using Santander Bank and then applying for a credit card and say, "There's nothing we could do. You're denied." And like, we don't even know why you're denied. We can't tell you anything, And then,
that's all right. There was a guy I worked with. He never had a credit card before, so his first ever credit card was the company credit card. And they only do a soft pull when you get a company card, so it doesn't report to your actual credit, but it still is attached to your social security number. So he traveled for work. It's like $1,000 for like the plane and all the food stuff, and his boss never approved it, so it like went delinquent. And his credit score that he didn't have, like he couldn't get approved for an apartment because his credit score was like 0 or something. So he had to like file a complaint with his had to go to the company and had to go to like the credit bureaus and be like, "No, this isn't me." And his credit score like went back up like 300 points or something like that. But yeah, he missed his first ever credit card payment. So,
damn, that's terrible. That's freaking terrible. Jesus. But I will say, this was an amazing live. Is there anything that you wanted to bring up at all during this before we head out?
I think we covered just about everything. I do want to thank you as my mentor in the game, giving me all the tips and tricks of creating little thumbnails and making videos. It's been a really fun process, and I think that there's a lot of awesome people in this community. If anyone is interested in making videos, being part of the community, join Anthony Ventures Discord, please. We have a lot of fun there. And if you want to learn, again, hey, how do I actually use points? Because I feel like there's a lot of times we talk as if you know things, but if you don't know anything or you are very new, feel free to join the community. We're a very, very helpful community. We're a little bit of a sarcastic community, I will say. So people will say some things in the Discord like, "Are you being mean?" No, most of the time it's not. We like to have fun. So again, if you reach out to people, very helpful. If you want to know the tips and tricks of getting your business class flights, there are people there who can tell you at least where to start looking.
Wow. That's the best endorsement of the Discord I've ever heard. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. And go subscribe to Mr. Kirby G. Like I said, just type in Kirby G credit card, use the link down that I just put down there.
There's like 45 of you still here. You guys gave me the 200 subscribers so easily, boost my ego a little bit. As they say, bigger number, better person. So you can make me a better person by subscribing to me.
Yeah, look at that, 172. It just takes a second. You can leave the stream right now. It would mean the world to us if you could just hit he could hit 200 tonight. So I think that's 30. It's perfect.
Once I hit 500 subscribers, I can create channel or have channel memberships and provide you more content than Anthony does. So
Jesus. Well, thank you, Kirby. Thank you, everybody who was out here. Let me special shout out for the super chats, the insanity, Dimitri, Miles of Smiles. I wore the wig for like 2 hours. Kevin, Tom G, John, Philmo, Miles again with the 2 memberships, then Xavier, of course. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. Much appreciated. And enjoy. Subscribe to Kirby and have fun. Keep traveling.